Judy Hansen here for JudyHansenDesigns.com, and I'm here to introduce you to something maybe some of you know a lot about or think you know a lot about, but I think I bring chenille to a new level. Chenille is one of those wonderful projects that is easy. I find it very, very relaxing. I used to love to come home from the shop and just watch my favorite TV show, get my favorite bowl of chocolates, and stitch. So first I'm going to show you some gorgeous quilts. I know, isn't that gorgeous? Here's one, and it just takes, how many layers of fabric? Can you guess? It takes 5 layers of fabric, including that. Okay, isn't that pretty, that backing? It's a quilt as you go. Oh my, so wonderful. And I probably knocked my pillow over, right? Here's another one. And I think one of the things I do with chenille that makes it so pretty, if you've got a gorgeous design, can we zoom in on this one a little bit? I do a space between them. So I will stitch maybe 2 inches, and then I'll leave an inch, inch and a half blank, 2 inches, inch, inch and a half blank. And it's easy, it's fun to do. All right, now I'm going to show you one in progress. Okay, this one is one that I'm making for my husband. He's a golfer, and so I took my 4 layers of fabric. Here we go. And it's all pinned together. Here's your supplies. You want to use some flathead pins. They're a must because they stay flat, and if you don't have flathead pins, when you're stitching it, it's going to be poking you. Ask me how I know. I look like a pincushion myself the first time I tried not using those. I use whatever your favorite needle is, 1280 top stitch or a 1490, whatever you like. I find I don't really need a different kind of needle. Scissors, you're going to need a scissor, a nice scissor that snips right to the very end. And then again, your flathead pins. You'll need a rotary just to trim up your panel at the end, but you don't really use it that much. The secret ingredient is called a chenille cutter. This one is the most, is the best, and it's also the least expensive, and you rarely find that. But this one is from Clover, and I'm going to show you how you do it. So you take your chenille fabric, or your regular cotton fabric, and I take, you can either use yardage or you can use a panel. I have a lot of them on my website where they're panels, and a panel is typically 24 inches wide by 44. And that's kind of a skinny quilt. So one thing I like to do is once I've chenilled it, I add borders to it. And I have a wonderful chenille pattern, at least I think it's wonderful. It's gotten very good feedback. And my chenille pattern shows you how to add borders, how to quilt the whole thing. So let me show you here, if we can get a little close up here. On the back, you'll see it's all stitched. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to you're going to create one diagonal line, and it's a 45-degree angle. So it isn't really corner to corner. You lay your rulers on there, and any wide ruler, I like a 6.5 by 24. I lay my ruler on there, I find one diagonal line, and I trace that. After that, you're going to use your walking foot, and your walking foot's exactly a 1/2 inch apart. So all I do is run my walking foot along the previous stitching line. I stitch from one end to the other, one end to the other, flip it around, stitch back, flip it around, stitch back. Now on this one, I'm stitching every line. Again, it's going to be quilt as you go with that cool golf fabric on the back. And so you take your chenille cutter, and I'm going to kind of go at the end here. You would start up here, and it serrates it, and as it cuts it, it has this little bar that rides along. So you cut the top 3 rows, you leave the backing intact, and the 4th row intact. So you go on my website, you pick out a panel you love, you order 4 of them, and I made that at a special price. And then you can use whatever you have at home for the backing, or you can pick a coordinate for the backing, whatever you have. And then when you're done, you stitch it up, You slit it up, and then the magic happens. Let me pull one of these back over. Now this one, when I went to bind it, here we go. When I went to bind it, I did a wave edge because it was just so pretty. And then you throw it in the washer, and the more you wash it, the better it looks. All right, so chenille quilts, fun and easy to do with yardage or with panel. Check it out at judyhansendesigns.com. Thanks.